Hey guys, what's up? It's Sean, Autotopia LA. And today my friend Michael has brought over a really cool car. This is one I've watched him refine over the last couple of years. And it's a badass. It's two cars in one. What you're seeing here is a 67 GT500, but it's not. Actually underneath this car is all modern Mustang. Suspension, chassis, engine, electronics, ABS, traction, all the modern stuff we love. But look at it. I mean, we're looking at a 67 GT500. He's kind of taken the concept of Singer with Porsche, Icon with the FJs and the Broncos, and he's doing it with Mustangs. And I absolutely love where he's headed with this company. This is the 67 GT500 from Mag Motors. We're gonna do our usual thing, get you guys into the details. Michael's here with me, so we're gonna talk through everything he's done to bring this car to where it's at. And I'm super stoked because I get to drive it. And I've been wanting to drive this car for a couple of years now. So this is gonna be a blast, you guys. So sit down, hold on, because here we go. All right, you guys, well, here we go for a cruise in my friend Michael's GT500. What do I mean by that? Well, as you can tell when you look at the body of this car, you're looking at a 67 Shelby GT500. But what you can't tell by looking at this car until you look deeper into it is that it's a modern day Shelby GT500. Isn't that what it is underneath?
Basically 2012 to 2014 chassis that we used to rebody. So you're driving a brand new car. Well, almost a brand new car.
I love it, dude. Right away, you guys, you can hear that whine of the supercharger. I know, obviously, you and I have talked a lot about your car over the couple of years that I've known you, but for people that are watching, so you took, and I don't mean this like, I don't ever want to compare and then have it devalue what you've done, but it's conceptually, it's the idea of what Singer has done with Porsche or what Jonathan and Icon has done with Broncos and FJs. Is you're making a car that's a replicatable car.
Absolutely. It's called backdating, right? You're taking a brand new chassis, you're adjusting it to look like our iconic classics. Like
Right.
You're driving a brand new car, and it's replicatable, meaning we created parts for it that could be done over and over again.
Right.
For clientele.
So it's not like every single car that you build, you're
It's not a
re-engineering.
custom car.
You're doing the same thing. It'll be
Semi-customable.
semi-customable. Yeah.
Exactly. And what it does is makes the process quicker for clients, so customers can get their car within 7 months instead of waiting a year and a half for something super custom.
Sure.
All of the components can be adjusted to clients' needs. They don't want black leather, they want something else, they don't want Alcantara. That's all easily adjusted.
Super easy
but
stuff.
The process and the body is all created and done and very easily put together.
It's funny, what's interesting right away, dude, is you hear the little wind noise, and that's because you've got 67 windows on here.
That's correct.
It's a 67 body.
You have to remember that certain things we kept on this car to look the part, which is 67 parts.
Right.
So they still work like 67 parts, even though we've made them new. But like the windows, we try to add much more sound deadening, soundproofing, more of the weather stripping around to prevent all that. So if you compare this to a real 67 that you're driving, we wouldn't be able to talk right now. Probably.
No, there'd be so much wind noise. We wouldn't.
Wind noise, engine noise, everything.
Sure. Not to mention we'd probably be getting pummeled by exhaust fumes. I've got zero exhaust fumes happening here.
Exactly. And you want some nice AC? Here's some nice AC.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So engine, it's a Coyote motor in here? Or
no, Shelby, so in 2014, Shelby produced a 5.8 liter 662 horsepower motor.
So that's what's in this.
And we keep the cars stock unless the clients want something souped up.
Right.
But really, you don't need to. The car is lighter now with carbon fiber by 400 pounds. So
Massive,
it becomes,
dude. I mean,
absolutely, if you lose 400 pounds off of a car with 660 horsepower and that much torque, you actually have trouble with traction. So luckily this car has traction control, launch control, all those little nice toys, you know, for you to keep your car on the road.
Right.
And airbags, just in case you didn't.
So you're at 668 horsepower?
662 is stock. Yeah. So this, but that's the 2014. The 2012 is a little bit less, but we put a JLT intake on us and an underdrive pulley. So just a couple of tweaks.
Got it.
You know, I wanted this car to be drivable on the street without sucking crazy amounts of gas.
Right. Being
comfortable and enjoyable.
Right.
Yeah? So, and still looking the part. And if you want to get on it, she'll perform.
Yeah, you can instantly tell there's a lot of car there.
I've taken it up to canyons, and she behaves like a modern car should. Actually, we had a little pleasant surprise. What happened was, because the chassis is wider than the 67 ever was by, well, 4 inches.
Right.
Putting a 67 type shell on it, just the birdcage here, narrowed, put the center of gravity inward a little bit more.
Gotcha.
So the car handles more like a go-kart on the track or on the roads than being a big wobbly, you know, monster that she looks like.
Right.
She's actually a pretty tight handling car.
Yeah.
Because of that.
So you got modern Shelby motor, then you got
all the
transmission, everything is all.
We keep the whole car underneath and the electrical, and that's why we're able to do all sorts of fun things with this.
Right.
Yeah. You can keep all your 4 airbags. You have a great AC system. You have the Bluetooth and sound.
Right. So you've got every creature comfort that we're used to in a modern car, but what people are seeing when you're driving around is they're looking at a 67 Shelby GT5.
Well, we added some modern features, right? We wanted it to look that you could tell that this is something different.
Yeah.
Right? So you could see it in the LED lights. You could see it in the turn signals with the LEDs. The backs, you know, have daytime driving lights as well.
Right. Interior wise, like obviously you've taken it from what was happening in 67 and you've definitely modernized it. I mean, all the diamond stitch interior, this big stitching on your dash and throughout the whole car.
The idea was if you're driving what amounts to be a supercar these days, you want the interior to match.
Absolutely.
You want the Alcantara.
Yeah.
You want the customized interior. And the car from about chest level here, from the dashboard down, is all new car. From this way up, the dashboard and up, we still kept all the 67 stuff.
Right.
So it's a half and half.
Right. I mean, just obviously I'm not going fast, but you can feel it. It's a new car. It's
absolutely tight steering.
Yep.
There's no, you don't.
There's none of the play. The clutch is nice and tight, but it's all modern. I mean, it's doing exactly what I expect it to do.
Right.
You know. Now you went with what'd you say the wheel company is?
Password JDM made our custom 3-piece wheels.
Right.
They're CNC machined and made specifically for this type of car.
Right.
What happened was we needed a very wide tire in the back to keep all
deal
this
with
horsepower.
The power. Sure.
But because the body's a little bit narrower on top than the track width of the car, we had to do a super positive offset on the wheels.
Gotcha.
So to keep those are 11-inch wheels on there, we needed to make absolutely custom wheels. And on the front, that was the biggest problem, was we have huge Brembos on there from Shelby.
Gotcha.
Stock Shelby Brembos.
Right.
But to fit that 44 millimeter caliper into a narrower body, and so that the wheel doesn't stick out and you don't have to flare the whole car.
Right.
It was a challenge.
It's one of the things I love about the flares on here is they're the Shelby flare. It's not, you didn't go aggressive wide body. It's not so radical where you, I mean, I think this car, I remember the first time I saw this actually was 2 years ago at the Rodeo Concours.
Oh, Concours, that's right. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And, you know, it was one that obviously it caught my eye right away because I think it's one of the sexiest cars ever. It's the 67 GT500.
It's a pretty car.
And then as I was getting closer to it, your hood was open. I was like, oh, okay, what's this guy got going on over here? You know, and it's cool because I'm with you. I'm a driver. I like to drive cars, and this thing, I can only imagine what a blast it is.
Absolutely.
Canyon driving, because you've got the brake package, you've got the big Brembo brakes on here, so you've got all the stopping
Coilover
power.
suspension.
And is it the stock? What comes with that car?
We updated this suspension for track use.
Okay.
So that's why it's a little bit rougher on the roads daily driving. But
So what
it's
is the
well
what are
worth
the
it.
coilovers on it?
Steeda coilovers.
Okay.
And they're spectacular for this car. We had them dialed in.
And they're fully adjustable.
Fully adjustable shocks.
That's
I mean,
bitches.
there's-
I noticed you have serious audio on here. I mean, Focal's
Focal.
like no BS.
We went a little bit overboard maybe with 13, 14. I forget how many speakers we have in here, but
Is there that
radio
many in
lamps.
here? I mean, I see
you
them
got
all.
3 here.
Right.
You have a tweeter where your fan panel there used to be.
Right.
There's a mid in the bottom. There's 5x9s in the back under the windshield here.
And then
under
I
the
think
rear,
I saw a sub in the
and a
trunk,
sub in the
right?
trunk. It's classy sound. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what I like to call it.
Oh, Focal's great, dude. They do.
And we had the guys
wonderful audio.
at Allen Eds do that for us. And
Oh, okay. Cool.
They're spectacular.
And some other little bits that you just pointed out before we took off on the drive. I love that you put, instead of a fire extinguisher there, you got a cigar
Yeah.
humidor.
The fire extinguishers behind your seat, and we have a little gentleman's kit that you guys will see on the video.
Because you never know when you're on a road trip and you need a little nip, a little cigar.
Exactly.
Right?
This is a gentleman's car that can do everything. I was channeling James Bond,
Right.
but in an American classic. That's all.
Wow, and then if you stand on it, it's exactly, I mean, I've driven 12 and 13 GT500s. I mean, that's what it really does feel like that car.
Absolutely.
You know?
There's no reason it shouldn't. The only thing is it's a little bit lighter and a little bit more nimble.
I mean, I'm a big fan of both Singer and Icon. I love the idea, and I mean, the prices are outrageous still. You know, $500,000 for a air-cooled Porsche. But when you see what the car is, when you drive, I've had the luck of getting to drive 2 of those cars, and they're wonderful.
Yeah, I'm jealous.
And then same thing with Jonathan and the Icons, and I love that's what you're doing here, dude. Is that you're making a car that you're going to be able to replicate this over and over and over with subtle changes, so owners can feel like they have somewhat of a custom. You know, they're
absolutely. We allow them. They can change the scoops. You know, they can do a little bit different hoods.
Right.
It's if they want to go more classic, we can do that as well.
right.
We're trying to chase that quality. That's why Singer is able to get that kind of coin for their cars, because
The quality's there, absolutely.
So we're trying to improve and chase that and become that kind of quality and have fun.
It sounds great. I actually like that what you hear more than the exhaust is the whine of the supercharger.
That's a Ford thing. If you want super loud exhaust, sure, but
Wouldn't be hard to do on this
it's
at all.
not hard to do. Yeah,
No.
this is the stock Borla, but if you wanted to go with something like Cervini and get yourself a throatier sound,
Right.
it's all doable. This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
a brand new car that has so many parts made for it aftermarket that you can improve it in so many different ways.
Sure.
So, and if something goes wrong, you take it to the Ford dealer. They can plug in the OBD. It'll tell them what the codes are.
The one-off custom, a lot of times those get absurdly expensive. You know what I mean? I've got customs that I've dealt with that are $500,000 to $1 million cars. But those are one-offs. But I'm curious, like this prototype car, because from here you've perfected to where you can replicate.
Correct.
So,
The prototypes are always going to be twice as much.
Oh, yeah.
Police action.
nice and easy here.
Yeah. The prototypes are always going to be twice as much as, or if not more, what your production car will cost, because it's R&D. Until you perfect the whole car, you're in it for $300K.
Right. So is that about where you're at on this first car?
For the first car?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Got it.
That's,
So now for the guy that says, dude, I love this car, I want one. What's the cost to produce this car for that guy?
Basically, we'll go source a new Shelby.
Right.
We're working on the newer ones, the S550 chassis, but
Right.
we'll go source in 2014 with low miles, and do our the whole process, and the out the door price for the client, even with all of these crazy options, would be about 180.
So for this car, a guy's looking at about 180 grand.
Correct. And for a semi-custom production, for something so unique,
It's such
believe
an incredibly great price
that's
point
where-
where you're at, Mike. I love your concept with this, Michael. I
appreciate
I hope
that.
I hope Mag, which we haven't even said the name of your company. It's Mag Motors, you guys.
Motors.
MAG.
We're here in Van Nuys.
By the way, you guys, something we didn't even mention about this. Michael said that he lightened the car with carbon fiber.
Yeah.
What he didn't tell you is that pretty much every bit of the exterior of this car, barring the doors and the roof, those are steel, but the rest of the car is carbon fiber.
Correct.
Oh, look at what's in front of us here, you guys.
What do we got? Ooh.
Check this out, you guys, just
Let's
to
have a
throw
little
off
fun
subject
race.
here.
Let him buy. Let him buy.
There's the R50.
Look at that.
Oh,
That's a
man.
gorgeous car.
We got to go chase this thing.
I know. Oh, it's going in the truck.
transport.
Follow him on the truck.
Check it out, you guys. That's the little bit you get of the GTR 50. Woo! Sexy, man. Ah. Nice. Everything about this car just feels right, dude. It's so cool. I've known you 2 years
2
or
years now,
something,
yeah.
and
Can't believe you
this is
haven't
the
driven
first
it
time
yet.
I'm getting to drive your car, man, and I'm just
I-
absolutely loving this.
It's mostly because I was scared to show it to you.
All right, you guys. Well, that's it for Michael and Mag Motors, the 67 meets 2012 GT500. What a cool car, man. I mean, this really is a car. You could drive this every single day. You could go out and pound the hell out of it, be it track, canyon driving. This is a full modern performance car, but it looks like this, man. I mean, one of the most iconic body styles ever. There's nothing like a 67 GT500. This car's got brakes, it's got suspension, it's got chassis. You know, you got the trans, you got the motor, you got everything from the modern car, Bluetooth, all the modern stuff that we love, all the creature comforts that we love. And it looks like this. I'm just totally blown away. And this is a company I've watched growing over the last couple of years. I've become good friends with Michael. And to finally get to drive this car, I'm just knocked out, man. I'm bummed that my checkbook doesn't allow me to write a $180,000 check to buy this car. But think about it, you guys. 180 grand for something on this level. I mean, this is the first one I've seen that's in a price point it actually adds up. It makes sense. Anyways, I'm just totally blown away. I hope you guys had a good time today. I had a blast getting to drive this thing and getting to talk more with Michael about the development of this car. So as always, man, I got to say thanks for hanging and watching and supporting the channel, helping us to continue growing it. I really appreciate all your support, and I will see you in the next episode. All right, man. Later.